that the 2024 theme park attendance numbers got released. This is from the Themed Entertainment Association. You'll oftentimes hear this referred to as the T report. And I'm not really sure how they get these numbers, but they are considered the gold standard of theme park attendance numbers because like Universal and Disney and most theme parks don't actually give their attendance numbers. So I'm not really sure how they get them, but we can, they are consistent, I guess, in terms of how they track this. So they've been doing this for a long period of time. So we can get an idea of what the park attendance was like in 2024. And at least to me, nothing here was too surprising, but I'm curious what you thought about this when we go through the numbers.
Okay, so for the United States, for the U.S., the top theme parks from 1 to 9 are all Universal and Disney theme parks. First is it's predictably Magic Kingdom.
But not by that much.
Disney, yeah, Magic Kingdom was 17.8 million. Disneyland was 17.3.
That one was the most surprising thing on this list.
So they were very close, very close. Epcot was next at 12.1. Then Hollywood Studios at 10.3, and then California Adventure at 10.05. And then number 6 was Universal Studios Florida with 9.5. And number 7 was Islands of Adventure for 9.45 million. And the change of that, they did go down. Their attendance numbers went down a bit.
Universal's did. So, yeah.
Yes.
Magic Kingdom was up 0.7%. Epcot was up 1.3%. That was the biggest percentage. But basically, Disney's was flat for the most part.
I mean, 0.6, 0.5, those are pretty.
Yeah, everything was like 0.3, 0.5 in around there. So, Universal Studios was down 2.6%. And Islands of Adventure was down 5.5%.
Okay.
Compared to 2023.
Islands was? Dang.
Well, I think this shows you the power of Halloween Horror Nights. Also, the Mega Movie Parade and things like that. They had a lot of that stuff going on the studio side.
That's true.
And they didn't really have anything like that going on at Islands of Adventure.
That is true. Why don't they do more in Islands?
Well, I think you're getting ready to see them do more with Lost Continent. Obviously, they're doing some demolition starting pretty soon there.
That's true. That's true.
But I think this is... So, I had said previously... I was fully expecting there to be lower attendance in 2024, given that you have Epic opening within a year. So it makes total sense if you're a family looking to go and you're going to spend all the money it's going to cost to go on a vacation, that you would just wait until the new park is open to go.
Absolutely, that's what we thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Now 5% is a decent drop there, but I do think if you look at 2025 numbers, I think Universal is going to have a much better year. I'm also not going to be surprised if Disneyland becomes the number one park.
It's well on its way. Well on its way.
Because there were some reports about Disney's attendance this summer being lower at Disney World. And if that is the case and Disneyland stays strong, you could definitely see. And that would be the first time that I can remember since they've reported this that Magic Kingdom would not be number one.
So, yeah, it looks like Disneyland went up 0.5 and Magic Kingdom went up 0.7%. So, unless something happens, I think that either they'll stay about the same or, if there's hopefully there's not like too many hurricanes come up all of a sudden and then they might shoot on past a Magic Kingdom. Who knows?
You're trying to jinx hurricanes now?
I'm not trying to jinx hurricanes.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
Well, what's also interesting is the Universal Japan was the number one international park.
Oh, that's cool.
So Universal Japan, I think a lot of that is due to leaning more into like anime and obviously Nintendo.
Yeah.
Also, Universal Hollywood saw a drop of 10%, but I think that is mostly due to Super Nintendo World opened a couple of years ago, and so that newness factor is kind of waning off. And I could also see a scenario as well if you were going to go to Universal Studios Hollywood for Super Nintendo World, that you would have switched your trip to Epic Universe because now they have Super Nintendo World and a brand new park, and that is a bigger Super Nintendo World. So I think that, and they are adding new things. They've got the new Fast and Furious coaster coming to Hollywood. They've got a lot. They actually have a lot of stuff coming to Hollywood in the next 5 to 10 years. But currently, that one kind of had a decent drop off there. But yeah, at least to me, like in terms of Universal, I was not surprised to see lower attendance. Now, I think when you're looking at 2025, keep in mind, Epic didn't open until May.
Right.
Epic, you're not going to see on this top 10 list.
Right.
Because not only did it not open until May, this park is capped in attendance wise, under 20,000 guests per day as it stands now. So if you take the calculations on that, I think it'd be a pretty good year if everything stands out as now for Epic Universe of maybe seeing north of 3 million guests for that park. So
okay.
obviously, Magic Kingdom's at like 17 million.
Right.
They're not going to break into that. But I think 2025 will tell you, even though Epic won't be on there, I think you're going to see an uptick in the other Universal parks because the way they did the pricing or the ticket packages there, where you had to have one day at Epic and the other park packages. So I think you'll see an uptick in the other Universal Studios parks. I think potentially, given what we've seen some of the reports, we'll probably find out a little bit about this at Disney's earnings call, that Disney may have had a little lower attendance year, or at least second part of the year once Epic opened, because I think it did have some sort of an impact on them.
Yeah.
So that could kind of start telling you the trend, because I think in 2026 and 2027, that's whenever you really start seeing the effect of Epic Universe. If they're able to get these wait time issues ironed out. I don't think you really see Epic pop on this list, though, until maybe 2027, like a top 10. So if you just take the numbers of Epic, and let's just use, currently it is, last time I checked, it's under 20,000 guests that they basically allow in that park. If you had a full year of operation with that same similar type of cap, you might see Epic near 6 to 7 million.
Okay.
Which would get you close to where Studios and Islands are. But I don't think that would still, it's not having the full effect there. But once they get this park completely ironed out, obviously I think Epic will end up being, up there with Magic Kingdom, Disneyland, like those eventually. Like you give that 5-7 years, whatever that time period is, I think it is going to be their flagship park. But in the meantime, I think you're not going to see like Universal all of a sudden just have this vertical line in attendance.
Yeah.
But I think you'll start seeing this, kind of like a stock that kind of just tends to go up. I think that's where you're going to start seeing Universal's attendance off of Epic Universe, and also off of the fact that they're building a new coaster, replacing Rip Ride Rocket, something going to Lost Continent. They've teased other things coming to the Universal Studios and Epic Universe itself. So I think in the future, they're going to do much better, but I'm not surprised at all in the short term here that you've seen a drop off with Universal here before Epic opened.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting the way it's looking at the way they're ranked from 1 to 10. 10 being, by the way, is Knott's Berry Farm that did make the top 10. That's back in California. But it's crazy because obviously the older resorts that were open, the oldest, are like at the top of the list.
Right.
Except for California Adventure. California Adventure was number 5, and it opened in 2005.
Yeah, I know. And Orange Grove 55 was telling me he was surprised DCA
2000?
was even that high.
Yeah.
Because he's not a big fan of DCA. He's like, I'm always surprised it's that high. But he kind of has it, equates it to Islands of Adventure, but he thinks Islands of Adventure is a more complete theme park than DCA is.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and I think honestly, the same thing that I said would happen to Universal. You'd see a drop off, especially the 2 years before something big opens in the short term. You are going to see some attendance problems because of people just putting off trips and waiting for the new thing, which is why you saw Universal do Minion, Villain Con. You saw DreamWorks Land. Like these were lower budget things they threw in there to kind of try and bolster up attendance. But I think most of that attendance was probably annual pass holders that were going to Universal. But I think the same thing that happened to Universal is very likely to happen to Disney while they're building all the things that they're building. And the thing that is different about Disney and Universal building something is Epic Universe didn't impact the day-to-day guest experience because that was being built off-site. Disney's construction is going to be in all, like 3 out of the 4 theme parks. It's going to be a major hindrance to your day-to-day guest, on top of the fact that obviously it's expensive to go to either Universal or Disney, and a lot of people may just say, hey, let's just wait and go once X, Y, and Z, or maybe all of it's done. So I think it's unsurprising that Universal had this, and I also think it's very unsurprising to predict that that Disney is going to have the same problem.
Yeah.
Which is why I think you see them doing these short-term turnarounds with that animation experience, with some of these refurbs they're doing, these land changeovers, the Soarin' over America type thing. I think they're going to try and do a lot of things to try and bolster up that attendance, kind of like what Universal did with some cheap things they can throw in there. Yeah. But I think ultimately that is what you're looking at here. So I think Universal is set up kind of like what's been predicted by Moffett-Nathanson, is that they're probably going to continue eating a market share the next 5 years.
We'll see. Yeah.
That's my guess. And if I'm wrong,
You're wrong.
I'll
man.
never admit. I'm kidding. I will fully
I'll
admit.
never admit. No, you will.
But yeah, so
Okay.
nothing too surprising there to me. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm almost tempted to predict that Disneyland will be number one next year.
Okay. So 2025, it'll be
I'm
more than
I'm
Magic
very tempted. I mean, I was shocked they were just percentage point. I mean, percentage like they
Yeah.
were both at 17 million. It was just percentage points away from each other of Disneyland being right there. I mean, from overpassing them.
Yeah. So 2023, Magic Kingdom was 17.72 and Disneyland was 17.25. And then they closed the gap a little bit in 2024. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely can happen.
So we'll see how 2025 goes this time next year. So, hey, pins and needles if you're waiting on that one. By the way, this report came out later than I think it did previously. I thought I remember it coming out like August and September in years before. It wasn't until late October that we got this one. So,
Okay.